I think I made that intro a little too serious. I feel like we should come on very straight faced and tonight on the Smoking Nun. I can't do it. I break.
You can't. It's
Mm-mm.
like you're putting up
How
your
are you
glasses.
at staring contests?
I always lose.
Me too. I can't do them. Can't do them.
I always start laughing.
That's my problem. I
It's
have the worst. Go ahead.
oh no.
I was just gonna say I have the worst poker face. I can't. I attempted to play poker one time and lost. I think it was $275. First time I played, but I'm the type of person that will go in and just think that I can bluff people, and I can't. I can't at all. So I lost like 275 my first time. It wasn't fun.
I'm really bad too. I'm a really bad liar. I can't lie at all. So I get really uncomfortable when I'm looking at people. So then I just start laughing.
See, you're lying now. Gave it away. Gave it away.
No.
Hello. Welcome back to everybody that is joining us again. Hot off the heels of the grading of Red Pill Religion. Did you see that, Katie? Did you happen to see?
I didn't. I was so busy trying to get my whoops, hold on. I was so busy getting my screenshots and stuff ready for the show and dealing with some stuff with my blog. So no, but I heard these guys are lunatics.
To say the least. Yeah, you didn't miss out on anything. It was crazy, but fun. I mean, Steve had
feel
fun.
like they would make my blood pressure boil because they
just a
really,
little bit.
yeah, like men don't need a men's right movement. Sorry, guys.
There was a, I'll just say this about it, but there was a point in the discussion where Godless Engineer had made the point that a priest in the Catholic scandals had blessed a girl before he actually raped her. And one of the guys said, well, would you prefer him not to bless it before he raped her? And to me, that was just such a, I mean, if I could have leapt through the computer, I would have then. That just, to me, is
How
just,
about you just not rape her?
Right.
Right?
That makes too much sense, though. That makes too
Blessing
much
the
sense.
rape makes it better.
What would priests be known for then if they stopped raping people?
I don't know.
So welcome.
money.
That is true. You got me there. So you are watching the Smoking Nun, where we dive into snake oil salesmen, woo peddlers, bullshit artists, scammers, and let you know what's going on with them. Tonight we have probably my most favorite story that I've heard with Danny Glass, and Katie will, of course, be taking us through that. But I got a couple of ad nauseum stories that just are almost too stupid to talk about, but we're going to anyway. So let's start with story number one. Miley Cyrus's sister is selling her tears online for $12,000. So,
Sounds
what's
legit.
your initial reaction when you hear this? I'm just curious.
Salty.
That was good. According to every person who has ever coached their friend through a breakup, it takes more muscles to smile than it does to frown. But how many muscles does it take to slip into a pair of $60 sadness sweatpants, bring a bottle of squeezy cheese into bed, and wallow your night away? That just sounds like a good time so far. But
with her tears,
Cyrus,
is that like an advertisement for her tears?
I think it's a clickbait intro to get people to click on the article. But it says that in August, Cyrus revealed to Elle Official that she struggled with anxiety and depression and self-admitted emo-ness, and she is now using this to her advantage. She will be selling sadness sweats and sorry I'm trash hoodie as a way to rail against the stigma of talking about mental health issues. So, I guess that wasn't a catchy intro. She actually is going to be selling Sadness sweatpants and Sorry I'm Trash hoodie, along with $12,000 bottle of tears. What can you do? Let's move on.
That's so stupid.
So stupid. All right.
She's related to my
Equally,
so.
equally dumb. You're gonna like this one. I think you might. I think you might actually like this one enough to cover this one because a Bristol man attacks son with a chainsaw, loses his leg when son runs him over with a lawnmower. That is an epic battle.
So he's running with the chainsaw, and then his son runs him over, and then he cuts his leg off.
It says that. Let me get back to the story. It keeps wanting to give me an ad. Bristol witnesses told investigators that Ferguson tried to attack his son with a chainsaw while the victim was moving or mowing the yard at a residence of Highway 421. A police report released said that he tried to defend himself from his father with a chainsaw by running him over with a lawnmower. Witnesses told investigators that Ferguson had tried to attack his son with a chainsaw while the victim was mowing, and he was found at the scene bleeding from his head and multiple leg injuries. Douglas Ferguson was 76, was charged with a attempted second-degree murder, and he is in jail for $25,000 bond.
So the son is in jail?
Yeah. So what the father apparently was running after his son, who was on a lawnmower, with a chainsaw. So his son, rather than stopping,
trying to defend himself.
I think so. Yes, I think so. I think what may be going on is that they probably told him that he should have stopped or tried to prevent it, but instead he just went ahead and ran his father over with a lawnmower. But to me, if I was getting chased with a chainsaw,
yeah,
I'd be running over some motherfuckers too with a lawnmower.
That dude could have just slashed your head off.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's nuts. I don't know.
He looks like a sweet old man, though.
No, he doesn't. He so doesn't look like a sweet old man. He so looks like the guy that would be sitting on the steps and screaming at kids and
get off my lawn.
Yeah, and he'd be drunk as a mother skunk.
Comment of the night. Comment of the night. Lusty McButt. Jilly Juice will grow his leg back.
Yes!
Oh, that's epic. Yes. All right. Let's go to the next one real quick. I'm gonna go through these a little bit quicker, guys, because we want to get to the main topic tonight. Stick around after the show because we've got the debate with Red's Rhetoric and the concepts coming up right after this. Okay, not much to this story. I couldn't get anything except for the headline off of this, but police say a man with no hands and no legs is armed and on the run. Okay, bear with me here. I'm going to try to unpack this. So it says a Florida man. Authorities in Florida are searching for an armed quadruple amputee who's reportedly been on the run since Tuesday, hoping to question him about his involvement in a double murder. Now, if you don't have hands or feet, how do you kill somebody?
I don't know.
I don't either.
Did he use sometimes he commission a murder?
Possibly, but I wonder if they
use stubs.
If they know that if they know what they're doing when they put these headlines up, they have to know how this sounds. Police say a man with no hands and no legs is armed.
How ableist they sound with the headline, a guy that has no legs is on the run.
Yeah. Oh, he needs Jilly Juice too. Maybe some turpentine. Actually, I'll tell you who doesn't need turpentine. Probably the most tragic story that I have ever came across, and I really didn't know how to handle reading this. But let me pull it up. Dave, you can go ahead and do the next headline while I pull this up. Okay. All right. Erie, Pennsylvania. A woman high on meth dies after pumping gasoline into her anus.
Oh my gosh, my butt hurts.
Okay, so let's see if we can get through this. A 32-year-old Erie, Pennsylvania woman has been killed after an overdose on meth caused her to insert a gas pump nozzle into her anus and begin pumping gasoline. The woman, who is yet to be formally identified by authorities, is believed to have a record for multiple drug offenses. She had overdosed on meth. The victim, let's see, horrified motorist looked on as the woman proceeded to shove the nozzle into her anus and began pumping gas. The gasoline entered her bloodstream and had a toxic effect, shutting down her key organs. Unfortunately, there was nothing they could do for her.
So she basically had anal with the gas pump.
Correct. I'm in one of those like paradoxes where this is tragic, and I'm really trying hard not to, be too crass. But I mean, come on. The most alarming thing to me was that this thing actually says that people looked on as she did this, and no one bothered to step in and tell her that's not a good idea. Probably shouldn't.
Could you imagine? But could you like legitimately imagine like stumbling on and watching someone do that? You would probably be more like, "What the hell am I seeing?" and not even registering it.
That's true. I think it's instinct nowadays, though, to pull out your phone and begin recording, though. That video's out there somewhere that exists.
Yeah.
Because anytime something like that happens, people are, they're looking to get on World Star or be the next YouTube thing. But to me, it seems like somebody would step in and go, okay, this is bad. And it killed her. That's what's crazy. It killed her.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me though, like that no one would step in, because there was like that woman in Florida that like took her baby out of a car and like walked her into a river and just like let her drown, and everyone was watching her and no one did anything. It's like the same thing. It's like almost like
what?
Trying to have your bearings of like, what am I seeing? What is this? Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Hopefully, I think that I would have enough wherewithal to jump in and save a baby if I saw somebody throwing a kid into the river. Like, that's shocking that nobody stepped in on that. That's crazy.
I know. Super sad.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all the headlines that I have today. We'll move on into, I think you're gonna update us on some Cabbage and Salt Lady, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's hear it.
Wah wah. It's chili time.
Now this pisses me off. This makes me angry.
I know. Okay, so here's the thing, you guys. Ever since the FTC stepped in, Jillian has, I don't know, lost her mind. I mean, I don't even really know if she had a mind to begin with, but she can't really like, even though she's not supposed to say that it like fixes or cures or whatever, she still does. So it doesn't really matter. And now, like, the biggest thing has been, one of the things she's been talking a lot about lately is her dog, Sugar. And Sugar is a rescue who, I don't know like how long she's had this dog, but it's got short hair. It's slightly obese. And she was posting videos, I think it was a week ago, maybe, of her dog, like literally like itching its skin up against her bed frame. And like, all she was doing was like laughing hysterically at it. But it's clear like the dog has like some sort of dermatitis or a rash or something. Like the dog literally like looks like it's in pain. Well, it turns out she's giving Sugar her juice.
That pisses me off.
Yeah. And clearly, I mean, she's giving the dog like a fourth of a cup, I think, a day, she says. And it's probably grossly dehydrating Sugar and making her feel terrible because she has so much salt in her.
Ugh.
And so for days and days, yeah, she was just like posting like, haha, sugar doesn't feel good. Oh, it's so funny. And then she finally took her into the groomer and took her to the vet. And I mean, but she's like, now she's like on this kick, like, you need to use my product on dogs and cats.
No, that will be her undoing, because people will sit back calmly when it's affecting people, but the moment that you bring in animals, or especially dogs, people will flip their shit, and that'll be her undoing. Before you go in a little bit further, though, I want to say I just got a link to a I think it says hoax alert, but that gas story might be fake. That might be a fake story.
Oh no, really?
I hope it is.
Bums me out. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it bums me out because,
we'll check it out though. But yeah, thank you for sending that to me, by the way. And I'll go ahead and pick back up. I just want to throw that out there real quick. Hopefully it is fake. Hopefully.
Yeah, no doubt. So she's like obsessed with her dog and like she had like a tumor, and she thinks that like the dog is gonna like get cured of the tumors from her Jilly Juice. She also was talking about how like maybe we shouldn't spay and neuter our dogs and cats because, you know, we don't have a massive pet issue in the United States as it is.
Right.
She also is telling people like how to use the system on the protocol on their dogs and cats. It's just gross. It's, you know, like a quarter of a cup has 1/4 of a, so it has 1/4 of a tablespoon. So that's like just under a teaspoon of salt. And that dog's not very big at all. That's a lot of salt.
Why can't Jilly just hurry up and stroke out on her juice?
I don't know. And then this week too, she's talking about like how she was trying to get menopause and now she has her period and now her husband wants to have sex, but she doesn't want to have sex. I don't know. She's crazy.
Oh, God. Why is she?
And then, I know. And then, so this is kind of the funny story. We have this group of people that help me, I think I've told you about, and they have this wonderful group and they all work together. And after the last time I was on talking about Jillian, I kind of said, you know, like the whole Dr. Phil thing kind of got the FTC stuff rolling. Well, that's not actually true. It was sort of like in the works before Dr. Phil got on, but the exposure that the show got from Dr. Phil had more and more people like reporting her to the Attorney General and to the FTC. You know, numerous people across the country have been working about this. People from the United Kingdom and Australia, I mean, people from all over the world have been reporting her. And one of these people that was in the group got really angry because she said that she alone took down Jillian. And she's been like on this tirade for like 2 weeks, right? Saying that she took down Jillian. And she's like mad at me and she can't let it go because I didn't give her credit, which is whatever. Like not anyone going to be able to take down Jillian, you know? And now this person is using Jillian's protocol and she's testing to see if bone spurs in her back will like regenerate bones like Jillian says. And she's like talking about the benefits of it. And so now we actually think that this person that was like saying that she got the credit for turning her in might actually either be Jillian or someone connected to Jillian.
That is a troll, absolutely, because no one goes from trying to take down anybody with any kind of sense or any kind of awareness or knows anything about anything is going to stay 100 feet away from this Jilly Juice product.
Right.
Like, they're not going to go near it.
Exactly. You don't need to test it. It's garbage.
You don't go from debunking it for certain to then taking the product for bone spurs. That just doesn't. It's got to be Jillian. I guarantee you, it's her.
It's either Jillian or it's like one of the people connected to her, because now she's like, oh, I fermented it for 8 days, and oh, I did this, and oh, I did that, and oh, it helped my acid reflux, and I didn't have a lot of energy, but maybe I just should drink some more. And it's like, you just argued with us for 2 weeks for like not giving you credit for turning her in, and now you're doing experiments.
Yeah, that's the thing is, people that do that think that other people are that stupid. That's what bothers me. You know, like everybody's just going to be like, oh, that makes perfect sense that you go from trying to take her down to now. Yeah, that's great. I think that's fantastic. She
my thought
is. Go ahead.
My thought is that it's probably Jillian, right? Who was trying to get the people and be like, yeah, she stinks. Look at all the stuff I'm doing. And then once she felt like she got some like credibility or trust, then it was like flip to like get people interested in the protocol.
Yep. And she is, I mean, we both know that she's delusional anyway, like on a scale that I knew that the moment that she posted that post a couple weeks ago, where she said she's looking to adopt amputees who are willing to put their faith in her to regrow their limbs and to steer away from the naysayers that she could do this. That's a mental illness right there. Like that's exactly what she is mentally ill.
And that's like exactly what I'm saying about like what it kind of goes into line with what you're talking about. It's like, how is she searching for people for regrowing bones? And now suddenly this sock account, and it is a sock account, it's a fake name, it doesn't have any pictures. How is the sock account suddenly trying to regrow bone spurs?
Yeah.
It's just kind of a coincidence.
She's mentally ill. And she's the worst thing about that, and the reason that they need to hurry up and step in, is because she's actually harmful. And now not only to people, but she's moved on to animals. Yes. Why they are like, it seems like they're dragging their feet on this. You know, it seems like the powers that be, or that could step in and take charge of this. And I don't know who they might be, but there's got to be somebody that can come in and just stop this madness. Like, she should not be able to spout out things to people that would listen to her about harming their animals. Because thing about this is, people have a choice in harming themselves. Like, if you want to take Jilly Juice, that stupidity's on you. But animals don't have that choice. Like, that's something that's being forced and imposed on them.
Or kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and you know, it's the government, right? So there's absolutely nothing fast that moves with the government. And when the FTC sends you a warning letter, you know, they give you a certain amount of time to get everything in line with them, and then they can go back and look at everything. But I trust me, people are continuing to report her, and they're grabbing screenshots, and they're sending them and calling the attorney general. So none of this is like, people are still reporting her.
Sure. Yeah. I know that there are definitely a lot of vigilant people out there. I just hope that it's before, you know, there's another casualty to add to her list of
and the wheels of justice are slow.
Yeah, they are. Except for when you owe them money, and then they're very quick to respond to you. If you owe them money, they will come for that. So I think that's good on Jilly. Let's move to the main event for tonight. Mr. Turpentine.
Yes. Danny Glass. So I posted so I've been like sitting around for a while with all of this information, and I got a little bit stuck up in the free birth stuff last week. That was sort of like a whole bomb blew up. And I finally got around to writing the story, and I think we actually have probably a couple episodes we can do on this. So I think tonight would be just a really good introduction for you guys to learn more about Danny. And but to give you a little bit of background, so Danny Glass is a British national that currently resides in Thailand, but he is in the process of relocating, and he'll be relocating to the United States. He's going to be moving to Los Angeles, I think in December. But so Danny Glass is like this, I don't know, he's like the derpy of all the derps. Like there's no derp that he doesn't shill. He's the shiller of all shills. Like he'll sell you anything. He doesn't care. But he's really into turpentine. And he learned about turpentine through a former doctor, I should say, Jennifer Daniels, who is in the picture. She used to practice medicine in, I believe, New Jersey or New York, maybe both. I'm not sure. She actually didn't practice for very long. She practiced kind of in the mid 90s into the early 2000s. And she decided, do you want to do the first slide, Dave? That when she was working with her patients, she noticed that so many of them were not responding to the normal medications, and all she felt like she was doing was just, sort of like putting a Band-Aid by prescribing them drugs. And so she talked to her African-American clients, and she wanted to know, what is this like miracle drug that you guys always use that makes you feel good? Well, lo and behold, she learns that like a lot of these people use turpentine. And so, yeah,
Stop.
It sounds ludicrous, right? But like up until like probably the 1920s, I think maybe, this was something that was used in medicine. It does have like antiseptic properties, and if you like rub the oil on it, like it's supposed to help with like joint pain. It was used it was like a Civil War type era medicine, right? We also don't like cut people's legs off anymore the way they did in the Civil War, and we don't just give somebody a shot of alcohol and tell them like, hold on, I'm going to do surgery. Yeah. Whap,
lead in paint. We got lead out of paint because that was causing yeah.
Right. So what they've learned is that even though it maybe has some antiseptic properties, and there's like properties of it that are still used today in like products like Vicks VapoRub, because it like helps to clear your mucus. But it's not like straight turpentine that's in Vicks VapoRubs. It's like whatever compound that's extracted out of the tree resin. I don't know how it works, but you would never like ingest it the way that they used to back then. Well, this crazy lady decided that she was going to just like straight up like have her patients use it. So she discovers,
correct?
Yeah, she's a doctor of medicine, right? She does family practice.
You said she wasn't a doctor for long. I'm going to assume that those two statements are connected, correct?
Correct. So basically what she does is she finds out that the stuff, like this is what the slaves used and like it's been handed down. Well, of course, like slave owners gave them turpentine. Like, come on, like.
Right.
Anyways, so she decides, you can go to the next slide, that she is going to develop a treatment plan, right? Well, she can't like submit this for like double-blind studies, and so she's just going to test it on herself, right? So because ingesting turpentine can cause seizures, it can cause bleeding in your lungs, it can cause permanent kidney damage, it can cause respiratory failure. She realized that you can't use a lot, and because of the seizure stuff, you really don't want to use a lot because it literally can put you into an epileptic respiratory failure situation where you die. So she decides that if you drop it on some like cubes of sugar, right? Like she'd start with a drop and then she'd see how she felt, and then she'd start with 2 drops and see how she felt. And so she needed to get herself to like the maximum dose where she wouldn't feel like she was going to have a seizure. Like seriously, like that's how she did the studies.
Oh, come on now. Mm-hmm. This can't be.
Yeah.
People this stupid cannot exist. They're really a doctor. The woman is a doctor.
Yeah. And I think she went to like some Ivy League school, not dumb at all.
How does that happen though? Like, how do you go from being able to pass medical school? Like you're that bright, you have to be bright to pass medical school, to going into doing studies on yourself with turpentine.
I know.
I mean,
So long story short, right? She like decides that it like cures everything, right? And she starts prescribing it in her clinics. And she kind of becomes like this underground sort of like guru for turpentine, very similar to kind of like how Jim Humble is with MMS, right? Well, the state medical board catches on to her and they're like, are you prescribing turpentine to patients? Because that's really dangerous. And so she gets suspended.
How do you prescribe turpentine, number one? Like that sounds like she is actually writing on a pad, take whatever it is, 2 drops of turpentine in the
I'm picturing being her patient, like you're in her office.
Right.
Like, yeah. I'm going to give you a prescription. Okay, where do you want? I go to the Walgreens. No, I don't need to know that. You're going to go to Home Depot, and you're going to pick up some turpentine. What?
You're going to go get some paint thinner, and yeah, it's nuts, right? So her whole argument is that because this isn't like billable and it's not like with big pharma, of course the medical board is going to get mad at her and like they're going to say that like she's practicing alternative medicine, but really it was like the FDA and the board being like, you're going to kill people. But she was like, no, I tested it and I'm not going to make anybody like hurt. Well, she gets suspended and then she gets like on a probation, and part of the probation is that she can't practice medicine without under the supervision of other clinical doctors. During that time, she was supposed to be able to like give all of her records at a moment's notice to the state medical board if they requested them, and she wouldn't do it. And so ultimately, yes. So obviously she's still prescribing it, right? And there's this whole interview you can listen to her where she's telling you the story. That's how I got all this information. Is she's like she was on a podcast and they interviewed about it.
Let me ask you this.
About it. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. How do they suspend her? Like if you have a doctor that is prescribing turpentine to her patients, that should be you obviously don't have the capacity to practice medicine ever again. Like when you go to that, like you shouldn't be allowed to ever pick up a prescription book ever again.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I think what the suspension really was like, you're like really on probation, right? Like you aren't really practicing because you're under the supervision of other doctors. And so, within that supervision, they're supposed to be monitoring what she's doing. And yet she still won't hand over, her medical records. So ultimately what happens is that she gets her medical license stripped, right? And she says that there's this whole big conspiracy where she found out about some blah, 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 blah. And she was going to be the whistleblower. And so the government was just making her a scapegoat. And so in order to, like all natural, innocent people do, she fled the country and now lives in Panama.
Oh, that totally makes sense. And it couldn't obviously be. It has to be that the government has it out for, because it can't be anything to do with the turpentine. Like that could not absolutely whatsoever be part of the reason they stripped her for her license. What an idiot! Like what an idiot.
So now she's like this like health guru, right? That works in Panama and still like hawks the turpentine. And Danny Glass, a British national, like learned all about turpentine through Jennifer, and he like links all of her videos and he defers to a lot of her expertise in his group. But he even takes things kind of a step further, and like he like decides for people how much turpentine they should have. So he kind of started with her for like the knowledge, but now he himself has decided that he's like the turpentine expert. And he like
student has become the teacher.
Correct, right? But Danny is like the derp of all derp, shill of all shill. So he'll shill you the turpentine, he'll shill you the miracle minerals. He'll have you turpentine, he'll have you eating borax. He like
what?
Yes.
Okay, look, here's what's happening. All right. People are just opening up their pantries and grabbing the first thing that they have in the closet and claiming that it's a is this where we are in society? Like, seriously, this is where we are?
So
What does
Danny
he
is
claim? What does he claim that it can fix for people who are wanting to know, like,
everything.
okay,
Cancer. It can cure autism. It can cure it. Well, clearly, like all the other sort of wacko lunatics in this world, they love to talk about parasites and candida because, you know, in our world, all of us have so many parasites, right? Like, come
candida?
on. And candida. Yeah, the made up
What is that?
candida. Candida is yeast.
I'm not familiar.
Yeast
Didn't know.
infections.
I mean,
Come
I
on.
know what yeast infections are, but I didn't know what candida was. No.
So that's just like the candida is just like the scientific name for yeast.
Cool. I didn't know that.
So these people think that candida is what causes fibromyalgia, it causes bipolar disorder, it causes cancer. You know, it's like they literally, and then they all think they have parasites too, which is interesting because I spoke to a doctor this week. I interviewed her for one of my columns, and she was talking about these people, and she kind of said that, like, these people that are doing these things, it's almost like the candida and the parasites are like the demons. So they're sort of exorcising their demons out of their bodies, but they just call it candida and parasites. And when she said it that way, I was like, you know what, that actually makes sense, right? Like these fictitious diseases that they think everything is connected. And back in the day, it was always demons that were like making us sick. Right? So
I
it's
think I'd
just
much rather go for the creepy priest laying his hands over me with holy water than I would drinking salted cabbage juice and turpentine. It's just no fun.
So here's the thing. Okay, but here's the thing with the turpentine, right? So turpentine is like psychedelic, right? So it actually will make, if you take enough of it, it will alter your mood and it will alter your state of mind. It'll make you high. I noticed several people on the board talking like how it made them feel like they were on LSD. And so I think for some of these people, it's that euphoria that they think like they're getting hooked on that high. Because it's like, it's kind of like huffing paint, right? It's that whatever.
Yeah, that rush. Have you seen the girl that got connected with, or got hooked on Air Duster? She was on Intervention, that show that used to come on A&E.
Yeah.
Does turpentine make you want to make love to gas pumps?
I don't know.
Fake news.
Just a thought.
Fake news.
Fake news, folks. Fake news.
So kind of getting around to Danny, right? So Danny like has this like love affair with turpentine. Well, all the time he's in Thailand, right? And he's like okay, he has a shaved head now, and he had these like, what are those like piercings that are right in your dimples? He had those. And he has like, you know, he's got all the tats, and he's like Mr. Crunchy Man, and he's against vaccines, but he drinks turpentine and eats borax. And, you know, he's yoga and he's vegan, and, you know, he's
everything
like
horrible in life.
He's like literally every like crunchy stereotype you can be, right?
I bet he does CrossFit. Tell me he does CrossFit. That'll be the final nail in the coffin.
No. He's a juicer, and he only drinks raw food, and he doesn't eat a lot of sugar, and it's like low
fat. There's only 2 steps left, Katie. After that, there's only 2 steps left: CrossFit and people who wear Axe body spray. Those are the final two steps off the deep end. So keep an eye out for that.
The CrossFit people are kind of like cultish, though.
Yeah,
they are. They're always like, "Come to my CrossFit."
Yeah, that's all they talk about. CrossFit.
So I digress. But so he gets involved with this other like YouTuber. And so Danny Glass, like I think we've talked about Jillian as like small potatoes, right? Danny Glass has 67,000 subscribers on YouTube. And his videos get hundreds of thousands of views. And Danny makes enough money where he can just pick up and go and do whatever he wants, right? So
that pisses me off. That pisses me off so much.
It pisses me off too, right? So annoying. Because he's like selling crap, and he like, Oh, his videos are horrible. Like you guys have to watch him because he literally he has like that selfie thing, a selfie stick, and he puts the camera on there and then he just like walks aimlessly. It's like he's stoned or something from the turpentine.
Really? Okay, so he
Yeah,
has
and
67,000 followers, and
yeah,
we're approaching 16,000. This means that I
yeah.
need to take a second look at our approach. Maybe I just need to go to my closet and I'll start a cult around Windex or Lysol.
No. So that's the amazing thing is I was talking to this doctor this week and she said, if I were unethical, I would just say, everything is made of carbon. And so if we all eat carbon, we're going to be cured of everything. And I could probably sell it. And I was like, you totally could because that's what these people do, right?
Yep.
So he gets involved with this other YouTuber named Sophie, and she is like a natural breastfeeding, like crunchy mommy kind of lady, and she does videos and stuff. And so they get involved. And it's like this kind of torrid, kind of on and off relationship. She had previously been married and she had a kid with this other guy. And Danny's kind of this like he's like younger than her and he's like a party guy and he goes to raves and, he's super healthy, but he's like, doing all the unhealthy things. And he ends up killing her.
Huh?
Yeah. So he's involved with Sophie. I don't even know for how long, maybe a couple years, and she's pregnant, 6 months pregnant. And they are on like a moped type thing in Thailand. And Danny swerves to get out of to miss a parked car, and he runs into a semi, and only Sophie magically gets crushed by the semi, but he survives.
See, I hate it when these instances happen where the wrong person was clearly taken, or the wrong person clearly got somebody that's innocent, and I guarantee you, as a result of what he's doing to himself, the turpentine, everything that's altering his brain or whatever, it probably
Right.
affected his reaction time or him paying
Oh yeah.
attention.
So that's like
So
the big speculation is that he was probably like whacked out of his mind on either turpentine or borax or something, right? And then there's that whole like, he's this guru and like, is there this like tie down of like a baby coming and like, does he really want a baby? And so Sophie's now passed away and her ex-husband has like ex-husband or ex-boyfriend, I can't know, has like really talked a lot about how, Danny and Sophie had this really toxic relationship and they were always on and off. And she was always like, I'm done, I'm back, I'm done, I'm back, I'm done, I'm back. And he was just like really kind of like emotionally and mentally abusive with her. And so she ends up dying and he gets charged with reckless driving, I think. Yeah, reckless driving. And he gets like
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. He gets like ends up getting like a $460 fine. It was like 15,000 baht, I think. And
What?
he gets and then he gets an 18-month suspended prison sentence. There was a little bit of like there was a lot of rumblings sort of in the underworld, of the people that kind of follow him and have been trying to get him in trouble, saying that there was like some screenshots of maybe him potentially admitting that it wasn't an accident. But this is all like conjecture. There's not people don't have proof, but the individuals that have been following him long enough all suspect that he was either high or somehow manipulated this to end her life.
I completely would believe that completely. How did he make it out unscathed and it killed her?
Right. Like, and they're on like those little mopeds. Like,
Yeah.
there's not a room on there. And so how does she get crushed, but he doesn't get crushed? It just seems very odd.
That's
So
shoddy. Where's he at?
He's in
Where did this
Thailand.
happen at?
In Thailand.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
So yeah, it makes sense, right? He could get away with it in Thailand, right?
Right. Yeah.
And all of this seemingly is just like, it's disgusting, right? Because like after this happens, like shortly after this happens, he's on YouTube and he's like crying to his followers and he's like, I need money to hire a defense attorney and it's such a bad accident. And like, it's like literally like the day after he kills her and he's like barely crying and he's on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's like, it's insane. And what's even more insane in all of this is it's not stopped him. He keeps going. He's like almost unscathed. It doesn't even seem to faze him, you know, like he's still like hawking his crap and selling his stuff. And then like a week ago or maybe a month ago, he updates on his YouTube channel that he's decided now, you know, after some long reflection that he needs to leave Thailand. My thought, and what a lot of people are thinking, is that because he has a suspended sentence, he's on a really thin, you know, rope. And so any one thing he gets pulled over or he gets in trouble for, he could be in prison for 18 months. And so he's just trying to flee at this point.
Either way, I think that he is responsible for that death. And to me, you know, I can't tell him how to run an investigation, but he can obviously be looked into. And if you look into him, you're going to see his connection with this cult, I guess, of taking, you know, turpentine and borax and these things. And it wouldn't take a very clever detective to put two and two together that obviously he was intoxicated when he had this. I mean, that should be a DUI because you can't,
Right.
You can't have your normal faculties when you're taking turpentine and borax every day.
No. And I mean, like I said, people were talking about how it makes them feel like they're on LSD. It's like a psychedelic.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, this isn't, and, you know, and he's bragging in his groups that like, oh, I accidentally drank a half a cup of hydrogen peroxide. And it's like, how much turpentine are you actually drinking, Danny? You know? And what's even crazier is he's like active in these groups and he's like telling them to rub it on their bellies and rub it on their heads and drink it and it'll cure your HIV and it'll cure your cancer and, you know, stop all your other medicines. Like, it's, yeah.
Maybe doing this show was a bad idea for, at least for my blood pressure. I feel like I'm going to get like super angry each week, but it's important, I think, to point out like what these people are doing. I have I'm not going to say who, but there's somebody that is close in my family that is sort of in one of these. Like and I can't remember if it's, I don't want to say it's bleach. It may be hydrogen peroxide. There's a chemical that they spray fruit with and stuff when it comes in, like at the grocery store. And it may be hydrogen peroxide. I think that's what it is. But it's supposed to kill the, you know, whatever bacteria or whatever. But
yeah, hydrogen peroxide is a bacterial. You, like, if you get a cut, you can, like, you know, put it on your little cut and it'll, like, get any bacteria off it. Like, if you skin your knee, like, right.
So last year at Thanksgiving, he's telling everyone in the family that, you know, he's on this new thing. It's changed his life. It's made him feel so much better. But he's taking spoonfuls of hydrogen peroxide before each meal, and he showed us a YouTube video of this guy that the guy just looked like he had schizophrenia or something. I mean, he's had that crazy look in his eye, but he was rambling about what this does to you, you know, like because it's used in, you know, the manufacturer, when the grocery stores get fruit to kill any kind of bacteria on it. This is what's going to do on the inside. It's going to clear anything that you have. And just the way that he was saying that it's changed his life. And I'm like, it's hydrogen peroxide, and you're not supposed to do, like, you're not supposed to eat it like that every day.
I know,
So,
I know. And that's what I'm saying. Like, Danny's like, I accidentally drank a half cup of it. No, you didn't. Like, you don't. And he like did a wink, you know, like a wink, you know, and it's like, you're clearly using these as like alternatives for getting high. Like, and then you're selling them to people as treatments for whatever reason.
Can I and we've probably got about 5 minutes left before we need to,
I know.
I
know. We're
can
like,
I give can I give them some advice though? If you want to get high, guys, grow up and do cocaine or meth like the rest of us. Okay, get off of your closet. Just do the
go
real
snort
stuff.
some
Please.
Adderall,
Stop killing people.
whatever. Yeah, like get off the turpentine. Like go get drunk. Go smoke some weed.
Disclaimer.
Like,
we do not endorse that you go and do cocaine or meth. That was
we don't really.
Satire. Disclaimer.
Clearly. I'm a mom. I'm I'm going to be 40 in a couple weeks. I don't do anything. I'm boring.
If you're going to do a drug, do a real drug, folks.
Right.
Wink.
Well, and like the thing is like, don't turpentine. It'll like burn your lungs.
Actually, you know what? I changed my mind.
Wait, hold up. Let me finish this.
Sure.
I'll be all Kanye West on you. Okay.
Do it. I just got Kanye'd. Huh?
You did. Okay, so this was the last thing I was going to say. So it damages your kidneys, right? And there was a woman in his group, and she was like, so my husband has kidney damage, and he's diabetic, and I've heard that turpentine can be kind of hard on your kidneys. Is it okay if he uses it? And Danny's like, nope, it's fine. It'll be okay for your husband. Just get going on it.
Oh, well, that actually plays in perfectly what I was going to say. If you guys are out there and you are sort of swayed by this guy and you think this might be a good plan, do it. Do as much as you want, because I think that the planet might be a better, more inhabitable place after you guys. So please drink all the turpentine and bleach that you'd like to. We carry on.
Our boy
Turpentine it up.
If you see this man, run away as far away as you can.
And look at look at his eyes. Does he not look like he's complete? He looks like he's like out of his mind, right? Like,
yeah, he looks fucked up.
And like all he does is like, I'm telling you, he walks around with a selfie stick out like this, and he just like meanders and talks about like the most ridiculous things. And I'm like, is it just other people on turpentine? They're messed up, and so then they think listening to him messed up is like fun. I don't know. Like, I can't for the life of me. And
I don't know.
I wrote the article on Friday, and you know, he says he's going to cure cancer. And the number one response I got from my readers was, well, when you're dead, you technically don't have cancer, so he's right.
Well, I say though that we should let them do it as much as they want, because this is a good thing for society eventually. It will weed out the people that, I mean, if you're on the fence about whether you should drink turpentine or not, just go all for it. Like, please, do humanity a favor and drink the turpentine.
The sickest part though is, do you know who Tiffany Haddish is? She's like an actress, comedian. I don't really, I don't follow. Yeah, she was like the host of MTV's like movie awards, I think, or maybe the VMAs. I think she's a comedian. I don't follow too much popular culture these days. But she's into turpentine too. And like, she's given interviews like with large media publications like Cosmopolitan, and like that she uses turpentine. It's insane.
Oh man. Look, that's the best way I can sum it up. Like you said, social Darwinism at its best. Now I hate that we have to cut it short, because I feel like we could go on, and there is a lot more to the story, which we will pick back up with next week, and we'll be back at 8. Katie, do you have anything this week that you want to have everybody look out for, or anything you want to put out there?
I just today wrote a piece about sort of an anti-vax nurse that isn't currently under investigation for wanting to have a chickenpox party, and she might be losing her license. I'm heavily entrenched still dealing with some of the free birth stuff. So, you never know what I'm going to write about. You just never really, we're looking into humaworm now, and so many.
See, I won't be able to do that. My stomach will turn on that.
Humaworm?
that and the like I almost literally died when you did the blood sausage
Oh,
thing. Like
I know.
that literally almost killed me.
I know that, you know, I feel like I have a really weak stomach, and by doing this, I feel like I'm actually like getting stronger because like I'm starting to get like not shocked anymore by the pictures that I see.
Oh yeah. Trust me, I know that feeling of not getting shocked by things that you hear anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
this is kind of pushing the envelope, but a year ago, if you would have told me that I would be sitting here a year later, knowing the shit that I know now that exists on this planet, I would have never done YouTube ever. I would have stayed
I know. I know.
far
Well,
away from
and
YouTube.
you probably get a lot of like leads for things from people that watch, and I get a lot of my
Yeah,
leads from people. Oh, I get most of my leads from my readers, and they, you know, I wake up to like 57 screenshots in my inbox telling me about some guy named Danny Glass.
I was going to say the same thing. I am in the mornings now. I used to like really look forward to checking my inbox, but now I like to push it away when I get up. I'll have my coffee first. I'll be like, I need to eat first before I do this, and so I was just shove my phone like away from me, and it's like I feel that dread as I go to push the little envelope app, and it
Yeah,
pops up, and oh man. But yeah,
I know.
thank you so much
Yeah.
for tonight. This was great as always. We are now going to take about a 10 to 15 minute timeout just to switch layers over, get reds and no concepts in. And Katie, if you ever wondered what the shape of the planet is, I think tonight might be the best night of all to watch, because it could be possible that we are going to see proof for a flat Earth thanks to a supercomputer.
Is this a flat Earth debate following?
Yes.
Oh, ooh, you got some serious derp coming up.
Derpage all day. It's
Derpage
been
all day.
Sunday Derp Day instead of Sunday
Derp
Fun Day. Sunday Derp Day.
day.
Yeah.
Derp days.
Danny Glass is like the ultimate derp. His derp knows no bounds.
Actually, there is a long line of people that could fight for that. George Lujack could be one. Kent Hovind. At the end on November 25th, guys, we will answer that question. By the way, so thank you to Katie. Check her out and follow her on Twitter at WOA Crystal Ball. I think I got that right.
Yeah.
The article to this story is in the description, as well as her social media links too. You can also join her Discord, where the conversation will keep going about all of this lovely stuff, so that you yourself can be pissed off all day.
So I have my own separate Discord, and then lovely David set us up a little thread within the NonSequitur Discord as well, where I can post my links now, and you guys can come and talk. And it's been really fun to kind of interact with some of your viewers there.
Yeah, it can be, depending on which one.
Except for the guy that told me that I needed to change my opinions about my opinions.
Well, I mean, that goes without saying, Katie. Change your opinions about your opinions. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, but the great thing is like everyone comes to my defense and like starts fighting with him, and then
yeah, they get territorial in there. That's for sure.
Yeah, and he's like, why are you getting all your friends here? You guys are all like friends, and I was like, I'm on the show. Like, of course they're gonna defend me.
Bitch. Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Bitch,
if you come in the Discord, don't be a dick. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's all I can say. So
like, don't tell a writer how to write. Like, just don't.
Yeah, or to change their opinion. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah. So stupid.
Thank you guys for watching. Don't drink the turpentine. Or if you really want to, please do drink the turpentine. And we'll see you here in 15 minutes for the shape of the planet on trial, and if we can finally get some proof that the Earth is flat.
See you next week, guys.
Non sequitur. Your facts are uncoordinated.